Hey you guys, welcome back. I'm Lala's Greg if it's your first time here. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming on back. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about Makeup by Mario. Now I've tried out a couple of the liners from Makeup by Mario and I did like it. So I've just been even more intrigued to trying out the brand, especially because, you know, he's a professional makeup artist. So I'm curious to see, and I was really even more curious to try out the brand once he released like his blushes, his cream blushes, as well as the contour sticks. I picked up one of his older eyeshadow palettes that he released called Master Metals. I picked up the newer one called Glam, and of course I picked up two of his contour sticks as well as the blush sticks and one of his powder blushes. All right, so his soft sculpt shaping sticks, contour sticks, have the same exact packaging as the blushes, the cream blushes. So if they're all mixing together, you really wouldn't know which one is which unless you look at the bottom and read what it says. So just looking at packaging, but just the feel of the packaging on the contour and blush sticks is different than the eyeshadow palette. I feel like the eyeshadow palette is like a more slippery feel, if that makes sense. And then on this, it's more of like a soft matte feel. So let's start off with the Sculpt Sticks. Now these retail for $28 and I got two shades. I got dark and I got deep dark, only because I wasn't sure which shade would work best. And this is 0.37 ounces and this shade right here is dark deep. And this shade right here is dark. So just by me looking at both of them, it's really hard to tell the difference just by looking at the shade straight on. So I definitely will be swatching these out. So the interesting thing about these Sculpt Sticks is that on one end, obviously you have your product, and then on the other end, you have like a brush. But just looking at the brush, you've got these areas that protrude more that I believe is supposed to help with blending as well and just focusing more of the product. So I think it's kind of cool. You've got your Sculpt Stick on one side and the other side you have your brush for blending. So I am gonna test out this brush. So as I was trying to put the cap back on, I accidentally took this off and I was like, wait a minute, did it break? But I don't think it did. Maybe this comes apart on purpose, simply just so that you can also clean your brush, which is really smart, yeah. So you can like just simply twist this off and it comes apart. And here are the blush sticks. Now, as far as the blush sticks, as I was swatching all of the shades in Sephora, I felt like a few of the shades were really similar. So I got two different ones because I really wanted to see what these colors would look like. So this one is Raspberry and then this shade is called Soft Coral. And it also has the brush on the end, just like the shaping contour stick does. I picked up just one powder blush and this is in the shade Wildberry. So I wasn't really too hyped about getting this, but I did get just one simply because I wanted to see what his formula was like. But I was really more excited about the blush sticks. Plus, I really wanted the Pat McGrath blushes, but we'll talk about that in another video. I haven't tried any of his eyeshadow formulas. So when I saw this palette that had the blues in it, I was like, okay, I really have to try this. I love blue eyeshadow. I don't know what it is, but I feel like blue eyeshadow has a time and a place and a moment for it. And I feel like when you wear it, oh, it just looks so good. So I had to definitely pick up this palette. So I've gone to Sephora and I've seen this other palette before, but I've never really tried it or picked it out. So I don't know, when I was in the store this day, I was like, okay, let me just give it a try. I'm not a fan of the price because it's $48, but I was like, let me just go ahead and try out the formula. Let me see what it's like. And it is the Master Metals palette. All right, I'm excited. Let's get started. So I already have my base done. I have my foundation, my highlighter on. I did not put no contour, bronzer, eyeshadow, any of that on. And I didn't use a matte foundation on purpose because I wanted to see how these products blend in with each other. So I actually used a foundation that honestly blends in so easily with everything, which is the Pat McGrath foundation. And I used her concealer as well under my eyes, just in case you're wondering. All right, so the shade that I'm gonna start off with first is dark. Now I really wanna see what this looks like. So I'm literally just gonna take this just on one side of my face. But before I actually put this on my face, I just wanna go ahead and swatch this out real quick, just so you guys can see what this shade looks like on my hand. All right, so we're all zoomed in. So this shade right here is called Dark, and then this one, it's not deep dark. I called it deep dark earlier. It's dark deep. All right, so we're gonna start off with dark on the left side of my face, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw just one line down just to see. Now already it looks like it's just gonna blend in. It doesn't look like it's gonna stand out at all, but let me just go ahead and blend it in. I'm gonna use the brush. As you can see, I just drew like one line just right up here where I would normally place my contour. Let's see. So this definitely is a warm colored contour. Some people will like just really a neutral shade of a contour. Now this right here is definitely warm. Now let's go ahead and just add some more just so we can see. And blend this out. And by the way, I didn't put any powder to set my under eyes, only because I didn't want it to interfere with any blending around this contour. I don't know. So far it seems just okay. Let me go ahead and try the other shade. I think that what I don't like about it so far is that I feel like the shade is blending into my complexion a lot. I mean, I can see it stand out a little bit, but I feel like it's closer to my foundation shade, because if you look on the right side of my face, I don't have on any contour or anything at all, right? Obviously, I highlighted right here, but I stopped my highlight right here. So it's gonna appear as if it's a little darker, but I haven't applied any contour yet. Now over here, I just feel like it looks warmer. I feel like it looks more red. I feel like it's almost looking more like a cream bronzer. I don't know. It doesn't say, like, to me, it doesn't say like Sculpt Sticks so far, but let's try the other shade. It could just be the shade. All right, so now let's try Dark Deep. Deep Dark? Yeah, Dark Deep. I'm getting so confused with this shade name. All right, so far it does definitely look darker. And so far with using this brush, I feel like this brush is meant to just like minimally blend in the product just so that, you know, it can blend in enough, but so that you still have that sculpt look, if that makes sense. So I want to go ahead and add another layer just to see what it would look like. So definitely is darker than the other shade. Do I feel like it's as warm? No, I don't think it's as warm. I do think it might be a little bit on the warmer side, but let me just go ahead and apply more. And I mean, looking at it, I guess I could say, yeah, that it is warm. So this brush is just okay, but I want to be able to blend in like my highlight with my contour. So what I would have to do is I'd have to go back in with my brush or with my beauty blender just to make sure that these two are blended in really nicely together. All right, you guys, so what do you think so far? All right, so this is dark, and then this is deep dark. Dark deep, Lord. This is deep dark. So far, what I'm honestly thinking is that this isn't deep enough. I would expect it to be much deeper. If you are my complexion, and mind you, I am like in the dark deep category, but there are so many shades after my skin complexion where if they wanted to use this as a contour, it wouldn't work. It's not deep enough. So first impressions with the shade range, especially since I got the last two shades, I'm not impressed with the shades. And especially for dark to be such a warm toned color, not everyone wants that in a contour. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm gonna use the dark deep color, whatever, just to contour the rest of my face. But wait, I feel like I need to go back in and blend because this is gonna drive me crazy between my highlight and this contour. So let me just try to blend this out a little bit more. All right, so moving on to the blushes next. Now, I'm really more excited about these cream blushes. This shade just looks so beautiful. Oh my goodness. This one right here is Raspberry. That is such a beautiful bright pink color. And then this one is called Soft Coral. And to me, soft coral isn't really necessarily like a coral color. Because when I think coral, like I'm literally thinking like between like a pinky red color, if that makes sense. This to me is more of a light pink color, but I still think it is a pretty color, but it just doesn't say coral to me. All right, so for the powder blush called Wildberry, I'm just gonna swatch this next to them just so we can see what this looks like. All right, so this one right here is Wildberry, and this to me is really just more of like a pinky pink color. So far, this formula for the blush looks really, I don't know, it looks kind of dry, but we're gonna see how it looks. You guys, I only have 2 cheeks, obviously. I ain't got 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with just the blush sticks first, and then I'll go ahead and just wipe it off and then apply the powder just so you guys can see. All right, so for what I'm most excited about is raspberry. So I'm just gonna go right on in. Like, I don't know what to expect. Usually I would go on the back of my hand first, but let's just see. And normally I would not use a brush like this for a blush, but because it came with it, let's just see what it's gonna do. All right, so far I really like this color, but I'm not liking the brush. I'm not liking the brush, but I'm liking the blush color. So let's see what the other shade looks like. Can you guys see that shade? I feel like I can see it very minimally, but not that much. I'm gonna apply some more of this just so we can see what this looks like. Oh my goodness, I hope I don't look like a clown. Don't laugh at me if I do. We are all in at this point. All right, so I applied more, but I feel like at this point, I'm just looking really greasy right here on the apple of my cheek, so I don't know. Okay, let me apply more of that other shade raspberry because I really did like this shade. Oh, too much. Why do I always get carried away with blushes? Like, I don't know what it is about blush, but if I see a color that I like, I get so carried away. But don't worry, y'all, I can fix this. It's all about the blending. And if you ever need to go back into your foundation brush just to blend some more, do that if you accidentally apply too much blush like I did. All right, so I want to hear from you guys what you guys think about this. Again, this side is raspberry, and then this side is coral. All right, so I went ahead and took off the side where I had soft coral on. Now raspberry is still on my face, but I went ahead and I took it off and I reapplied foundation. So I really want to try this one next. So this is Wildberry. So let's see, I'm using a clean blush brush. So let's see what this looks like. So I did barely tap my brush into it and I did get quite a ton of product on my brush. All right, you guys, so I promise not to get carried away. Well, let me not make no promises. So as far as pigmentation goes, I would say that pigmentation is fair. I don't think it's like overly pigmented, and I don't think it's under pigmented either. I do think that this formula is a drier formula, if that makes sense as far as blushes goes. Now it's interesting because I was more excited for the cream blushes, but I actually think that this color, this formula looks much better than soft coral did. All right, so what do you guys think so far? I mean, I could apply some more, but at this point, I'm just getting carried away. By the way, I forgot to reapply the Contour Dark Deep. So this is just a blush that's on this side. But at least you get a really good picture to see what it looks like on its own. I know I made a promise, right? All right, so I normally wouldn't wear this much blush, you guys, but I really wanted to see what these shades look like. All right, so let's move on to eyeshadow now. I'm so excited to try the new quad. Oh, so these shades actually don't have any names. They just have numbers, PG1, PG2, PG3, and PG4. Okay, so PG means Party Glam. So this is called the Party Glam Quad. Okay, so the shade names on this are actually hilarious. Silver, gold, copper, bronze, rose gold. I mean, it's literally just the color. All right, you guys, so here are all the swatches. Now, the first set right here is from the Quad, and then this is from the Master Metals. So as I was swatching, I was actually pleasantly surprised because I didn't think that the Master Metals, that formula seems really nice. So let me give you guys a close-up. So out of everything that I swatched, there's only one matte shade, which is the blue shade right here in this palette. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start off with that blue shade. And I'm gonna take it on my MAC 224 blending brush. I'm just gonna focus that right in my crease. And no, I have no idea what kind of look I wanna do, but I just really wanna test out this formula just to see what it's like. And since this is the only matte, I'm definitely gonna go right in with this shade first. I'm gonna take my Morphe M514 and just focus on blending these edges. And so far, this seems to be blending in pretty nicely and easily for me. I'm not having any issues. And I'm just taking my MAC 224 brush again, and I just wanna deepen the crease some more. Okay, so that looks really good so far. I'm just gonna replicate the same thing on my other eye. All right, so next, I wanna take this shade right here from the Master Metals palette. Now, it's called Silver, but to me, this isn't just silver. Like, it has light blue reflex in it. Now, the silver in this blue palette is more of a silver. I don't wanna use that silver because I really honestly don't wear silver eyeshadow like that, but I really wanna see what this formula is gonna look like on my eyes. So I'm just gonna take my finger and we're just gonna stamp it on one time. Oh my goodness, can you guys see that? That looks so good. Oh my goodness, this looks good. Okay, so, I don't even know what I want to do now anymore. I did not cut my crease. This is just the shade on its own. Look at how beautiful. The pigment on this is ridiculous. This palette's expensive, but I mean, it is gorgeous. Like, oh. All right, so I want to go ahead and take this blue shade right here. I don't know if that's called P1. I think that's probably called P1 or PG1. But I'm going to take my middle finger and just stamp this on the end right here. Oh, this is so pretty. Can you guys see that? Wow. I really just want that first shade to just nicely diffuse into this one. All right, so just so I can perfect these edges, I'm just gonna take a brush and just clean this up a little bit more. Beautiful. Now, I've used this brown pencil before and I really do like this, so I'm just gonna use this to line my waterline. And it is from Makeup by Mario and it's called the Perfect Brown. And I'm gonna put a little bit of the blue on my blending brush and I'm just gonna use that to smudge out my waterline. From the Quad palette, I'm gonna take like this golden, lime green golden shade. I'm just gonna put that right in my inner corner. I'm actually gonna feed that up into the light blue shade. From the Master Metals palette, I really wanna wet one of these shades. So I'm gonna take like the orange shade and I'm gonna wet it. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, we'll see. But I'm gonna put this on my lower lash line just to see what this will look like. All right, you guys, so I am all done. This is the finished look. What do you guys think? Now, I wanna go ahead and just give you guys my final thoughts real quick. Let's start with the Sculpting Sticks. So using these shades, I'm really disappointed, you guys, because these shades don't work for deep dark skin. Like, honestly, if I was to use dark deep, I could get away with it kind of, but Not 100%. Like, I feel like even the shade itself is just too warm, especially dark. Like, it's just warm. And when I think of sculpting and contouring, I think of using like neutral shades or not necessarily warm shades, because you want to be able to sculpt the face. I feel like if the intention was this to be like a cream bronzer or something like that, then it would work perfectly. But sculpting, to me, that just doesn't correlate. And for anybody who is darker than me, honestly, these shades are just not gonna work for you. I feel like even dark deep borderline doesn't really work for me as much. I just wasn't impressed. I really think that the shade range for this could definitely be improved for deep dark skin. So I just wasn't a fan. Now, I will give points for having the whole mechanism of having this brush. I think that this brush works for the contour. I don't think it works well for the blushes. I don't like it for the blushes. When I apply a blush, I really want to have a really nice diffused look. And I don't feel like I really get that with this. I do like it. Oh, I mean, it's kind of okay for these, but definitely not the blushes. I do like the idea of being able to remove it so you can clean it. I really think that's a good idea. But you guys, these contour sticks are $28. Now, I know that you're not paying just for the product, you're also paying for the mechanism of having this, but I still don't think it's worth it. Like, I'd rather not have a brush. I'd rather just have product that works well and has a great shade range. Now, I have a few different products that I could even compare these sculpting sticks to, but I have the Huda Beauty Tan Tour right in front of me, and the shade that I have is tan, and tan is not the darkest shade. Like, this is a nice dark shade, and it's neutral. Like, it's not super warm or anything. Like, this to me is what contour and sculpting should be, not all this warmth. I just feel like it just doesn't work. And again, for $20, this is that squeaky? Yeah, it doesn't work for $20, I'm sorry. Now, the blushes are also $28. I did, however, really like this raspberry shade. It's what I have on the side of my face. I think that this raspberry shade was really beautiful. As far as the formula, I think the formula is okay. I honestly prefer some of my other liquid blushes better. So this was the second thing that I was most excited about, and it just didn't impress me. Like, I'm not impressed by these blushes. I know, don't come for me, but I'm just being honest, I really wasn't. The soft coral shade, to me, it's just not really a coral shade. I feel like, in my opinion, like, I can see how it can kind of look coral here, right? But when I swatch it out and on my skin tone, it is not coral at all. Like, it just isn't. To me, it's just pink. And when I think of coral, I think of like a really nice, bright, pinky red color. This doesn't do it. And again, the brushes, I almost said blush, but the brushes on the end of this, honey, this don't work for me. I need something where I can really diffuse my blush so it's really nice and pretty. Out of all the products I picked up, the least product that I thought that I was gonna like, this is so funny. I literally thought that these were gonna be my two least favorite products. And starting off with the powder blush. Now, I did like this. I feel like the formula worked okay, like it worked fine. This retails for $24. Will I be repurchasing this? No, I already used eyeshadow as blush, and if I'm gonna buy a blush, I really want something that has a really beautiful formula to it. Not that this formula wasn't nice, but it's definitely on the drier side as far as blush formulas go. It was fine, but it's nothing that really wowed me, but it's interesting because I definitely did prefer this over the cream blushes. All right, let's talk about this quad. So for this Party Glam quad, now the blue blended out really nicely. I know people are gonna have questions about the blue and how it works, only because not all matte blues blend out nicely. This one did. Now this retails for $25, so how much is that per shade? Okay, 5 times 5 is 25, but there's 4 shades, so it's around 6. Let me just use my calculator. Okay, $6.25 for one shade. Now, would I overall recommend this palette? I mean, even the blue shimmer that I have looks beautiful, but for $25 for this quad, I don't think it's worth it. I know, don't come for me, only because I have other more affordable palettes that work beautiful that aren't this pricey. So I just don't know if I can justify the price for this. I mean, the formula was fine. Am I the biggest fan of this formula just on my first impressions? No. But I mean, it looks good. I used multiple shadows in this eye look because I really wanted to put these palettes to the test just so I could see what the formula was like and how everything would work with one another. And I mean, it's fine, but I don't know if I would just pay $25 for this. And I thought this was gonna be my second least product that I liked. It's so funny because I actually like the powder blush and this out of everything that I tried today. But again, these I just thought I thought this one was just okay. I actually really did like this. Now, the only thing with this is that it's $48. Like, how much is that? 8 times 5 is 48. 8 times 6 is 48. There's 5 shadows. I can't. I know, I can't do math. Let me just, listen, this is why we got calculators, and I ain't complaining, so I'm gonna put my calculator to use. All right, so each shade is $9.60. Now, why am I breaking it down like that? I know, it's just because I'm really trying to justify if this palette is worth it. I do like the formula on this. Now, obviously with this formula, you can mix it to make the shadows pop more, but I didn't buy the mixing medium or whatever it is that you can mix with these shadows simply because I just wet my brush with my setting spray or whatever I have, and I do that with all my other shimmers and it comes out fine. So I didn't see the need to buy what was specifically meant to mix with this. But I mean, these shadows worked well. They look really beautiful. I really was impressed by even how they swatched. Like, I feel like a little bit goes a long way. And the silver blue shade that I have on my eyes right now is really eye-catching. So I do like this formula. So I think that above everything that I tried out today, I actually would say that I like this the most, which is surprising to me because I really didn't expect that. But is it worth $48? I mean, I don't know. Like, I have a lot of other shadows but then again, I have Pat McGrath shadows. It's so expensive. But see, I feel like Auntie Pat has another place in my heart because her formula is just so amazing. But I mean, hey, if you are gonna try any of the shadows, then I would say try this one and just see how it works for you. But I really wouldn't recommend any products. I know, don't come for me, you guys. I'm just giving you guys my honest opinion. You know, sometimes I come on here and it's like I try things and I like almost everything that I tried. And then sometimes it's like, dang, I don't really like what I thought I was gonna like. But that's a good thing. That is why it is good to try things out that you normally wouldn't wear. All right, you guys, so that is it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that y'all just enjoyed hanging out with me. Like, I had fun. I hope y'all had fun too. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and hit that like button. Watch some more of my other videos. I mean, just enjoy yourself. Take your time. Watch all of them. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.